everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Leah Catherine, this is Leah Sees Movies, and we are back with the next episode of Young Justice. When we left off, our heroes were dealing with the fact that we may have to team up and fight for Clarion because our alternative Chaos Lord is the child who will destroy Earth and everyone on it. We also found out that Vandal and Clarion sunk Atlantis, and then he had never heard of boats. I'm really stuck on that. Like, a couple of people had some theories for why he was so, like, insistent on taking over the oceans and why boats were simply not enough, but I don't know. I don't think I'm convinced. I think it's gonna be a sticking point with me for, like, the rest of the season. Ooh, and I almost forgot, we were introduced for the first time to Jason Blood and Etrigan, so I'm kind of curious to see what part they're gonna play. I had a lot of ideas for who, on the kind of spiritual, demonic, magic-y side of the DC universe might show up. I'm not that familiar with it, I think, besides people who showed up in Justice League Dark. But, I had some ideas. Crossing my fingers for Raven. Don't think it's gonna happen, but she does have a demon in her forehead, so I feel like she'd be helpful. Well, other than that, I don't have too much speculation for this episode, so I'm going to keep this brief. Let's get started. Chaos Emeralds.
Unlike the Chaos Lords, the Lords of Order rarely descended to Earth. The theory was that a mortal's earthly ties would allow for a greater understanding of the problems that chaos created among humankind. Okay, so they're kind of answering a lot of the questions I was asking last episode of why wouldn't they just step in directly. Lords of Order simply hesitated to dirty their hands on our chaotic world.
Well, that's not very hopeful then. It's like, we're here to defeat chaos, but not if we have to touch it, it's dirty.
For the Lords of Order on Earth.
Yeah, but we saw what happened to him.
With a mortal, not to mention their sinking of Atlantis, represented a significant escalation of the conflict.
Okay, us the Lords of Order have empowered a mortal. Not that mortal. And y'all just dropped a big rock on him.
Reassess. Thus,
hey, we saw this scene in
architect of all this, soon to be
Eternals. Which I thought was great, by the way. I realize it was very divisive, but I enjoyed it a lot. Close, Ydaer.
You know who I'm going to see.
Important use of my powers. Gotta be dry. All the spells that she does are just backwards, right? Like backwards English.
Thanks, Doc.
I'm not a doctor yet. There's a cost to magic. She's drained her vim vitae, her life force.
Maybe she shouldn't have used it to dry off.
I wonder why we wound up here.
Aunt Inza?
Oh, that's why. And
there he is.
Whoa.
Dear old dad. Kind of.
Daughter of Zatara, you invoke our aunt and invade our tower.
Yes.
Take these children and get out.
Again, it's like you're pretending like you don't know what's going on right now. It's like you're more worried that, oh, they invaded my tower. Get to work, clock in.
Beast Boy.
Cut to Beast Boy asleep.
Garfield. So, are you coming or
Does
what?
he look like he's coming? He has not showered in days.
You got this covered. Is that our catchphrase now?
Seriously, guys, you're not like a smidge concerned? You don't think perhaps this is an unwell child?
Marduk found himself frustrated with his Babylonian generals and their pernicious independence of mind.
They don't just listen to me.
Marduk's son Nabu argued fiercely against giving the witch boy free rein. But Marduk, ignoring his son's advice, was intrigued by Clarion's offer. The result, Clarion brought a Starro creature from deep space.
What are you trying to do with the Starro? Also, why was Nabu wearing that helm all the time?
We are not inclined to intervene.
Useless.
Two Chaos Lords at each other's throats sounded like a win, right up until their conflict sank half of Roanoke Island.
But that assumes that fate cares.
Your sentinels are not ready for this fight.
We so are.
We've been training really hard.
Guys.
Ready for anything, kind of. More or less.
Okay, I'm proud they lost confidence there. They knew they were BSing.
that premise.
But like, you're gonna spend more time proving that they're not prepared, which like we kind of already know, instead of just helping or formulating a plan that doesn't rely heavily on these partially trained teenagers. Just say, hey, they're not qualified for this fight. Bring in some real fighters and then maybe I'll help. This is a waste of time.
What would be the point, loser? Who was that?
Ignore the
Oh
whispers.
no.
They're nothing.
Nothing. Like you.
It's your creeping insecurity.
A mystic test to draw out my insecurities. That's why I wanted you as my protege. That's why she pulled in Khalid and Mary to replace. Stop! Is it fate? Is Naboo pulling your strings? We're hand puppets. We have no strings.
Does anyone remember Potter Puppet Pals? That's kind of what's all that's playing in my head right now. We found the source of the mysterious ticking noise. It's a pipe bomb.
Tracy, you're a fraud. You don't belong here.
I thought they didn't
You're
have
not
strings.
ready for this fight.
The trip to the center of your insecurity thing really works better with characters that you know fairly well.
No solution.
This is kind of just like,
problems.
sure.
As the
13's not confident. That doesn't mean much to me.
it was his fate to die. Fighting the enemy his father had unintentionally raised.
Right.
I'm trying to become a doctor and a hero.
Your methods are magic. I thought you were Muslim. You should rely on God alone. I gave up magic when I converted to Islam.
That sounds like a you thing.
If you were a good Muslim, you would listen to your mother.
Okay, but we have magic. I feel like inherently your whole worldview would have to be different if you could literally do magic.
He's Homo Magi. He has to honor his genetic heritage, even if it means giving up the study of medicine. Dad, I'm not giving up medicine. I can do both.
You probably can't do both. Just because schedule-wise, you can't be like an 80-hour-a-week med student and then also be out at night doing magic-y things.
Your father and I didn't work hard our whole lives to put you through medical school.
I know, but
Only to have you run off.
you cannot abandon
I do
your
like
true calling.
the water getting higher and higher. That's fun.
You're not ready for this fight.
This is a much more visually interesting depiction. Literally drowning in your doubts. A little puppet controlling your insecurities. It's been done.
We interrupt this program for an important announcement.
We run an entire mission against the headmaster, and he hasn't moved an inch.
I think the real lesson here is, did we really need Beast Boy on these missions? Was he, like, integral?
Say it! I want you to say it!
No, we don't say that anymore.
Say it and save me!
Speed of Mercury!
Not that way!
At least this one I was interested in, because I was wondering why she retired.
Strike the Hercules!
That's not the way! You're not doing it right! Shazam!
You don't have what it takes. Stamina of Atlas! What are you?
That's crazy. Stamina of Atlas just to get punched by yourself.
You're pathetic. Afraid to be your true self and without enough imagination to become something new. Without me, you're not ready for this fight.
I don't feel like that was necessary. Like, it gave us a little background, which is kind of fun, but narratively, they're not ready. We already knew that. They even knew it.
The Lords forged something new. Not simply an agent of order on Earth, but a Lord of Order. Created from the soul of mortal man. And Naboo's own helmet. The only thing required was a human host body capable of channeling Naboo's mystic power. Such hosts were not always easy to come by.
So we just start blackmailing people.
Known as Dr. Fate, who has for centuries defended this world from chaos.
When, like, only if it, like, suits him, not just when bad things happen.
Urban magic! What does that even mean? And what if the battle isn't in a city?
Okay, that one's a fair point. don't have these concerns when Spider-Man has city-based abilities. Just don't move.
It's above me now.
Thanks, Leroy. You're right.
I kind of wish she had a black cat if we're gonna lead into the bad luck thing.
I work through my insecurities every day. But I am not a quitter. I make myself better. And I don't fear failure or let it stop me. I am ready.
I like that. Being centered in his religion, even though it also causes him a lot of stress at the idea that he's betraying it with what he's doing. It's a nice message. The problem is, I just met this guy. So while it's a nice message in theory, I don't really emotionally connect to it because I'm just like, he seems nice.
I am a first-generation American on my father's side and descended from Mayflower pilgrims on my mother's.
He's biracial.
I can and will be both a doctor and a sorcerer. Magic is a science of its own, another tool from our Creator to serve what's good. My faith will strengthen and guide me as I walk along this path. I am ready.
You know what we still haven't addressed though? The time commitment of being a full-time superhero in training and also a doctor. Just saying.
I'm powerful. I am better and stronger than anyone and anything. Why wouldn't you want this?
Well, I mean, this does answer my earlier question of why would she give everything up?
Being sergeant full-time, not living your life as Mary at all. You agreed it wasn't right. Back then, you knew you had to stop using the power completely. Quit it. Quit her.
You are nothing without me! Billy was right. I had to stop. But that doesn't mean I have to stop being a hero. I can use my connection to you to become a sorceress. To be just as important and powerful as you ever were.
Okay, but why can't she just grow up a little and then be sergeant? Or maybe just pick a new name. One that's not so militaristic, but still use those same abilities.
I am ready for this fight.
Also, at least the other two had to have, like, their own self-assurance come in and save the day. She had to have a vision of Billy show up.
Are you ready to?
And I guess it's still a manifestation of herself, but still.
Cost you your lives.
Not like you care. Oh, these babies might die.
Fate has neither need nor use for them or you.
Then why did you waste our time?
Intention of intervening, so long as chaos fights chaos.
We interrupt this program for an important announcement.
Not to like talk about Supernatural again, but this feels so much like Supernatural, like with the angels, where it's like, oh, a bunch of humans could die. I mean, that has nothing to do with us, so, The whole idea of starting the apocalypse, because like Lucifer v. Michael, but they'll torch all of Earth in the meantime. Supernatural is deeply embedded into every aspect of my brain now. I will never recover.
Me what I already know.
So that you may understand why there is as yet no need for us to act. Let the Chaos Lords fight until even the victor has been weakened by battle. Fate will step forward to bring order in the end.
I love the echo on his voice. Like he starts talking before he starts talking.
You view Fate as a single champion, but this has never been true. The Lords of Order plan for Dr. Fate's formation to require two champions, Nabu and Fate's host. Yet every host, every person, finds their strength in their own way. Do you think I would have survived these 10 years as your host and prisoner without my faith in a higher power? Our Father, who art in heaven.
This show took a real religious turn all of a sudden. I thought he was going to say my belief in my daughter. I truly did not expect the Lord's Prayer.
As we forgive those
like,
who trespass against us. And she does not.
Oh, we're doing like the whole prayer, huh? We couldn't just do the cross. I think I did this backwards.
But it is only in the combined strength of all these individuals, in the unity of the disparate, that order may truly rise out of chaos. Great Nabu, step back from the precipice of your own arrogance. Start by listening to my daughter.
We need you in this battle.
Come on, Nabu! You cranky! I need help!
That's hilarious. He really just like, let me in!
Please kill his anchor. Big talk! She won't be that easy to kill.
Tico has never won a fight, I'm sorry. Get PETA on the line. And yet, it's what I've been saying for, I think, 2 years now. Why don't they ever just go for the cat? I didn't think this metaphysical familiar cat would just, you know, be like a neck snap situation, but here we are. Oh my gosh. They're still on this bus from hell. It kind of looks like they're going through the portal from Willy Wonka. I'm watching this whole thing for you guys, but it's literally just screaming. Thanks. So glad I watched all of that. Alright, I'm just gonna say it. Most of that episode was kind of boring. Sorry. Literally, like, the last 3 minutes were the most interesting. I'm saying 3 minutes, that's even kind of strong. The last 30 seconds, where Clara just shows up and is like, knock knock, let me in, and then Tico gets her poor little furry neck snapped, and now everyone's like, oh no, which is like kind of ridiculous because you'll even see that Nabu was making the oh no face, and you were just saying like, I'm not gonna step in, I'm gonna let them fight it out, and da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Because A, the assumption was they're gonna fight it out and weaken each other, and at no point has the child appeared sufficiently weakened, and for the all-knowing fate, you think he'd know that, and we just wasted a bunch of time. I don't know who Etrigan and the stranger went to go recruit, but I hope whoever it was is more useful than Nabu is. And also for all that they're like, for the past 107,000 years, Nabu has been defending humanity from chaos. I don't know. Like, every time Fate has stepped in, it has literally been at the last second, and it seems like he does it for the drama, and like half the time people have to beg him to help. You put the helmet on, and then you have to like fight with him to not be possessed for the rest of your life. He's like, is he like a hero people like? Because he's deeply unlikable. And it's not even like I really care if he wants to help humanity for the sake of humanity, if he's on this kind of greater power kind of situation. He just seems very unhelpful. Like, it seems that if left to his own devices, he would just hang out. And then, like, why are you wasting my time then? Why do I have to defer to you? Stupid. We have our three, they're not new characters besides Khalid, because I think we met Mary before this season, and we definitely met 13, but it was kind of like, yeah, we put them through the ringer, but they came out stronger because they have faith in themselves and other people, which is delightful. But like I said earlier, like, I feel like when you go into seeing these characters interact with the world, and then you get a more interior view of them, I feel like it's a bit more impactful. Going straight to like a super interior view of them, it seems like it should feel like you're getting to the point faster, right? We're getting some backstory. Like, we just met Khalid. Okay, so first generation immigrant with a white mom who converted to Muslim but apparently did magic. Like, there's a lot of really interesting things there. He's a med student, da da da. But it's like, they're just throwing a lot at you, and even then, they're throwing a lot about him at you in conjunction with two other characters. So it's not even like you get to really sit and live in his world and in his universe and figure out what makes him tick. It's just like, oh wow, he's drowning in his doubts. Actually, with the love of the Lord, he's back. And I was like, okay. It's like, look, she has insecurities. Then she's like, well, I'm used to them. It's like a worse version of what I used to say in like season 1 and 2, when I used to complain about how like they'd build up a mystery for so long, like in season 1 where it was like, ooh, all of the team is lying to each other. McGann's lying about being green. Artemis is lying about her dad. Da, da, da. And it was like, can't wait for everyone to find out each other's secrets, and then they all found out in one episode and basically were like, power of friendship, and forgave each other, and it was like not even a thing. That's what that felt like for me. They just zoom past something that it's like, you created a situation with the intention for there to be drama, but it went so fast, there was no drama. Like, at least in this case, it ended with a scenario that I hope means we're gonna see the child start wreaking havoc, and now everyone is actually gonna have to team up and fight her, and there's gonna be actual consequences. Because what they did with Roanoke was a good start. Because if you're like, hey, this is a villain who's really gonna do damage, and we start by sinking a city, I'm like, okay, I'm taking her seriously. More than a lot of other villains we've had who are like, oh my god, it's a world-ending threat. Oh, they're fine. We arrested them. It's all good. So hopefully with this kind of cliffhanger ending, it means that we're actually going to get to feel the stakes rise, and we're going to get to feel them over a period of time and not rush them with it to be like happen and resolved in the same episode. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We're still going to get Raven, but still hoping for it. Yeah, definitely did not expect the overtly religious direction that this show took in this episode. I can see how that probably would not have gone over well for some people, just because in these kinds of shows, the presence of religion tends to not exist except for very specific characters. Like, obviously, it kind of made me think of Daredevil and his relationship with Catholicism, but that was such a central focus of who he was as a man, as a hero, his guilt about that happened over multiple seasons versus as part of one episode of the 4th season of a show in which religion was never really prevalent. So that was like a bit jarring. We also had our daily depression check-in, and he's still depressed. Good job, Beast Boy. You've migrated from the bedroom to the couch, and I know from experience that can take a lot out of you. So good job, enjoy your nap. Moving on, much like the show. Although for some reason it always moves right back. No one asked for that, but it always moves right back. Starro was there, which I do love the idea of Clarion being like, hey, guess what? So, like, I have an idea for how we can better get control, and it's exactly what you're looking for. And Vandal's like, sounds amazing. Something that gives me complete control. He's like, yeah, it's a giant starfish from space that mind controls people. And he's like, wait, what? See why dealing with the Chaos Lord is not extremely predictable? But I do also like to see that, because from what I had observed, and then from what the child said of, like, you're a Chaos Lord and you're following the demands of a mere human. Like, what is this? It at least makes sense that he has screwed over Vandal time and again. Because it's like, how did you control an elemental function of chaos for thousands of years without it biting you in the back at some point? So, biting you in the back? Stabbing you in the back. Shooting yourself in the foot, biting you in the face. I don't know, what's the correct metaphor? The point is, I'm happy that we did get to see that Clarion ruined things for Vandal a little bit at some point. I would definitely say that I'm now understanding a lot of your comments about this arc and why a lot of people are not a fan of it, but I am hoping it improves. I think you guys said this one's actually 5 episodes, not 4, so there's still time. There's still time for it to go in an upswing. So I'm just gonna be positive and hope for that. Anyway, that is all for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, comment, etc. All of those things to make me very, very happy. If you don't want to do any of that, but you've watched all the way to the end of this video, thank you. I still really, really appreciate you. You can follow me on Twitter at LeahSeesMovies, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace!